Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. So, hello, lovers. Hello,
Hey,
KZOOMers. Let's do that hallelujah once more. And this time, remember, follow the bouncing ball.
Moving finger.
And see if we can, source the hallelujah from deep inside us. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yay. So the starting with the praise, praise is really kind of I'm calling it the new frontier. My new frontier is praise. Exploring the edges of praise and where it can take me. So this week of the KZOOM, I think I called it surrendering to the power of love. And there's a way with our spiritual path, or walking our spiritual path, and sometimes we can sort of exert our will to say we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But there's another part of us that really, that the curriculum is to surrender, because it's already there, and we are holding ourselves apart from the oneness. And when we surrender, when we let go of our separateness and our kind of like, that place of our will, and we just surrendered to the power that is already moving in the world. There is a love that is moving already, this dynamic force, and then I want to enter into the stream of it. I want to enter into it and allow it to take me with you. And this line that I am inspired by this week from the Song of Songs starts with a word that is a hepax legamina, which a hepax legamina is a fancy way of saying this word only appears once, so it's anybody's guess what it means. And the word is Libavtini, and it Libavtini is and sometimes it's translated as "you have ravished my heart, you have captured my heart." I have surrendered to this flow of love, and I'm melting, I'm dissolving into it. I'm allowing it to take me into my larger self. And I'm letting go of my small identity in order to do that, which is sort of like a different muscle than like, I'm going to make this happen, So it says, "You have ravished my heart, my sister, my bride." And that's what we are calling Shekhinah, the divine presence. We're calling her my sister, my bride, the one that is so close to me. She's part of, she's of my own body and blood. My sister, my bride, Libavtini, and imagining. There we go. Imagining that there is, if you close your eyes a moment and just imagine that there is a kind of a ruach HaKodesh, a holy wind that is moving in the world, that is the spirit of the oneness. And we want to allow it to touch us, to take us, to capture us, to envelop us, to embrace us, so that we can be carried away. I love that phrase. I was carried away, and to have moments in our lives when we get carried away, feels so important to both humble us and lift us up at the same time. So let's try this practice and just enter it. With every repetition, it's a kind of a dissolving, surrendering, giving ourselves to the larger reality. Let's see if I this works here.
Libavtini, achoti Chalah. Libavtini, achoti Chalah. Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah. Libavtini, achoti Chalah. Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah. Libavtini, achoti Chalah. Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 achoti Chalah, Libavtini, achoti Chalah, Libavtini, 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 Libavtini.
So when I am surrendering, I am surrendering to my true path, to the momentum of my soul. I'm just letting go of the resistance to who I am and who I'm meant to be. And it's so interesting to be able to look at that resistance to surrendering. And when I was kind of like inquiring into what is the nature of this resistance, it felt like it's fear, It's like every time I start to dissolve, then there's something in me that gets afraid that I'm going to lose myself, and I am. But I'm going to lose my small self in order to open to the big self. And so, but there's a fear that's sort of like entangled in the ego that kicks in, so that sometimes it keeps me from surrendering and opening up to that larger reality, and also opening up to the momentum of my own soul, the place where I need to go. So I wanted to bring you this practice that I have been loving lately, and it is a verse from a text from Reb Nachman of Bratzlav that calls the whole world a narrow bridge, and that narrow bridge is the pathway that we're walking. And I think about it as the pathway from the finite self to the infinite self, from the separate soul to our oneness in God. That we're all on that journey. And Reb Nachman says, but it's a narrow bridge, meaning it's easy to fall off, and we really have to keep our balance. And what makes us fall off are doubt and
fear.
Well, fear is the main thing.
Yeah.
Fear is the main thing, and then the fear takes the form of lots of other things, of our anxiety and our doubts and our cynicism, or it's like, what is it that keeps us from dissolving into that oneness? It's basically that this fear of losing this ego self, and so that fear gets us into all kinds of trouble, and sometimes it's a kind of a fear that creates kind of a paralysis that keeps us from walking towards that infinite. But I feel like that's a one-way bridge. We're all walking this bridge. I always thought about that movie Soul, where there's that bridge into the unknown. So that bridge that we just keep walking towards the fullness of our being, the infinity of our own souls. But we get stuck along the way, and that's really why we need our spiritual practice, to be able to work with our fear. Reb Nachman says the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. So I was talking to Rabbi Diane Elliott about this, and she's sort of saying, like, to me, but of course we fear. How can anybody tell you not to fear? And so what I want to say is that the fear that captures us, and we don't even know it's happening, the fear that disguises itself as the truth, the fear that keeps us small, when we actually look it in the face, that fear dissolves. And so the idea is, when it says not to fear, the thing is not to fear, not to be run by our fears, not to be a slave to our fears, but to instead to be able to use the energy of that fear to say, oh yeah, I'm on the right track here. There's something that, and to transform that fear into careful awareness, and deliberateness, and consciousness, really. So it's an energy that needs our awareness and transformation. So I've been singing this all week on the beach, and just contemplating what is this pathway. It's really like a path, the path of love that we're on. We have to keep remembering we're on that path. It's not a given that we, because sometimes we just forget that that's who we are and where we're going.
Or fall off.
Or we fall off.
Or get back up and
get back
on
up
it.
again, yeah. That's the tshuva practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I found that chanting this chant, it was very comforting to me, and I really want to pour into my voice a sense of confidence that I am. I think I'm not going to play that.
Okay.
That I'm on this path, and that there's nothing going to stop me from this path. Sarah Joy says the center column of the Sefirot. Yeah, I'm on that path towards the infinite. When Diane also said she thought it was the bridge, that there was the infinite on one side of the bridge and infinite on the other side of the bridge, and the bridge was the finitude. Right here. It's another way to look at it. So, so let us sort of use these words to really be deliberately stepping on that bridge. And kind of making a resolve that the fear is not going to stop us on this path of love.
Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar me'od. Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar V'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal. V'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar me'od. Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar me'od. V'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal. V'ha'ikar lo nefachei klal. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main gesher tzar me'od, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefachid klal, v'ha'ikar lo lefachid klal. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefachid klal, v'ha'ikar lo lefachid klal. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefachid klal, v'ha'ikar lo lefachid klal. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. All the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to
I invite you to close your eyes and just feel yourself on that narrow bridge. And feel a sense of like opening to the infinite, being called, moving along this path of love. And make making a resolve that nothing's going to stop you. So I think that I invite you to just to open your eyes and look around the KZOOM room. That somehow having companions on the path is part of how we keep our balance. Because if I start to fall, somebody catches me. Oh, there's Pesach,
He's ready to hold me.
Ready to catch me.
Thank you, Pesach.
When I fall. And so it's so important to sort of just establish that sense of like, oh yeah, we're walking this path together. And what I've noticed for myself is the way that the fear emerges. Sometimes that there'll be some kind of pain. Even if I just give the example of a physical pain, when I have a physical pain, it moves very quickly to fear, and then from the fear moves very quickly to making a story about it. Some very elaborate stories that come out of my fear.
I'm dying.
In terrible ways,
In terrible ways.
But I can watch the progression from pain to fear to story making. And if I know that pattern well enough, sometimes I can stop myself with the pain and really, not, let it kind of morph into fear and then into story. And I think that goes with all kinds of pain and suffering in the world. That we can stay with it, we can move through it with support, and not let it kind of morph into that place. And so, there is this, to surrender to something greater, that we're, and putting our lives in this larger context that allows us to then manage the pain that we're feeling, which is a kind of inevitable part of being human. So I wanted to do this practice that is called surrendering, and it was commissioned by someone whose young son was dying of cancer, and she and the community wanted something to chant to help him on his way, and to help everybody else to be able to deal with it. And so these words came out of the Bedtime liturgy, and they really felt helpful to me. Those who are shruting, I gave it an E and an A. And there are really three phrases in this. So biyadacha afkid ruchi means into your hands I entrust my spirit, and that's the sense of surrendering, and of letting go into the hands of God, which is like the power of love, really. So biyadacha, I'm going to give myself into these hands. And then padita oti means that I know somewhere deep inside me that when I do that, I will be liberated from my smallness. It says you redeem me. I will, I have been kind of in this place of constriction, and the redemption that comes from my surrendering is really that I'm going to be coming into the place of freedom. And then there is this kind of invocation the last phrase, which is Yah Ayl Emet, which is two different names for the beloved here. Yah, with the Yud He Vav He, I'm just saying Yah, and then Yah, God of truth, God of truth, and which means like I'm asking for the truth, for the truth of my being. I don't want to hide from it. I don't want to hide from what I'm being given in this moment. It is the truth, and it was interesting. I wrote to Rabbi Art Green to ask him about the narrow bridge, and he said one of the things that make us fall off the narrow bridge is self-deception. And so to call on the God of truth is saying that I don't want to fall off the bridge in my place of self-deception. I want that, I want that. I want to stay with the God, with the truth. And I want to, and that's part of the process of surrendering. So we'll see if we can just feel it inside as we chant, that kind of giving over to something greater. And I love the word in English. What is he holding up here? Oh, I love the word in English, surrender, because it means giving over to what is higher. So render is to give, and sur is what is higher. So surrendering is always, it's never a defeat, it's always a giving over to what is higher. Even though it sometimes might feel like defeat at moments, like when you're having a Pluto transit.
I feel like that.
But so biyadcha, afkid ruchi, padita oti Yah Ayl Emet, biyadcha 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 afkid ruchi, padita oti Yah Ayl Emet, biyadcha
biyadcha afkid ruchi padita oti Yah Ayl Emet 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 biyadcha afkid ruchi padita oti Yah Ayl Emet.
So let's stay in that place of surrender for a couple minutes. Just letting go with each breath. And it takes a lot of trust to surrender. We are growing our trust as we surrender. And Betsy, what does it say on your shirt?
Trust. Trust what?
Trust women, protect choice.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Or even just trust.
Just trust. Trust everything.
Yeah, well, it's my softest sweatshirt.
And it's purple.
Whatever helps you surrender. Yeah. I just saw the trust part, and I was like, yes, we need to trust. So when I was kind of this week, looking at what it means to say you have ravished me, what does it mean to let my heart be captured, to lose my self-consciousness, and I I felt like the phrase that came to me was that I wanted to say was, I'm all in. I'm all in. And I can't always say it, It's like, that's how I want to live. I want to live that I'm all in, meaning I'm here for the whole ride, the whole experience. I'm all in. And I want to live from that wholeness. Richard Moss says to me, wholeness is the key to aliveness. It is more than just physical vitality. It is radiance coming from being at one with yourself and your experience. Life then flows through you. Life flows through you. So we do this practice of integration, being at one with myself and my experience and all my parts. I come into wholeness, and that wholeness gives me this aliveness, and it also allows me to be the channel for the divine flow. So when I thought of what it meant to be all in, I thought of this phrase from the Shachrit liturgy that in the Kedusha that says Kulam, Ahuvim, all love. Kulam berurim, all clarity. Kulam Giborim, all power. And I thought it would be a good way to end this, this sense of, that's what we're surrendering into, that place of all love, all clarity, all power. And it's become a little bit of an anthem in a way, and sometimes when I sign my letters, all love, or all love, all clarity, all power, it feels like, and it's sort of like saying, I'm all in. I'm not going to shrink away from, my own experience of my life. I'm not going to shrink away from whatever the lessons I need to learn are. I'm going to, to take it all, to allow it all in. So let's see if we can activate that place in us that wants to say, that wants to say yes, really. I'm here. I'm all in. And I'm stepping into that flow of love, clarity, power. And I remember, at retreats, singing this, and people were like, all love, all clarity, all power. Yeah. Kulam,
Ahuvim, Kulam, Berurim, Kulam, Giborim, all love, all clarity, all power, all love, all clarity, all power, all love, all clarity, all power. Kulam, Ahuvim, Kulam, Berurim, Kulam, Giborim, all love, all clarity, all power, all love, all clarity, all power, all love, all clarity, all power. Kulam, Ahuvim, Kulam, Berurim, Kulam. oh love, oh clarity, oh power. Kulam, Ahuvim, Kulam, Berurim, Kulam, Giborim, oh love, oh clarity, oh power, oh love, oh clarity, oh power, oh love, oh clarity, oh power. Kulam, Ahuvim, Kulam, Berurim, Kulam, Giborim, oh love, oh clarity, oh power, oh love, oh clarity, oh power, oh love, oh clarity, oh power. Kulam, Ahuvim, Kulam, Berurim, Kulam, Giborim, oh love, oh clarity, oh power, oh love, oh clarity, oh power, oh love, oh clarity, oh power. Kulam, Ahuvim, Kulam, Berurim, Kulam, Giborim, oh love, oh clarity, oh power.
So when I'm in that place of power, it's not my power, it's God's power, it's the mystery's power, it's the power of the beloved through me. And I am then ravished. I am captured by that power. Stepping into that stream of it. So I want to bless us all, that love, that clarity, that power in our lives. And just to say, so great to be together. And and
We missed you last week.
yeah, hope everybody had a wonderful
Passover.
passage to freedom. Sort of the secret of freedom is love. It's like the inner story of our journey to freedom is the journey to love. That's what frees us. So good to be on this journey together. Please visit the website, give a little donation in honor of what you received to keep us going here. And
So good. Some of you haven't seen in a while. Tony, oh my goodness, it's great to see you. Tony in Australia and Johnny's in Australia.